I don't know what it is about these weird, surreal feeling games that just neuron activates something deep within me. Whether it's the feeling of existential dread or just the feeling of wanting to exist in some place that doesn't even feel like reality at all. And with the increasing popularity of liminal spaces, it's easy to see why these types of depictions are becoming even more prevalent. As AAA games try desperately every year to be more and more realistic, seeing every pore and sweat molecule on your character, I think we as a culture are kind of starting to get over it. Games are starting to be appreciated and expressed as more of an art form, which it is. I think a lot of devs realized, hey, I can make literally anything I want, so let me just reach into the depths of my mind and make something just incredibly fucking weird, combining surreal, unique visuals and game design depictions that AAA studios wouldn't dare approach. It feels like every game these days has a million objectives and map markers telling you exactly where to go and what to do. But a part of this new movement is the feeling of being confused and lost. Having no idea what the hell is actually going on is just part of the feeling the devs want you to experience. And no matter how much content AAA studios try to add to their games or how realistic they try to make it, I believe it's actually these things that really make you get immersed in a world. And when the world is something you can barely wrap your head around in these games, it elicits a feeling you can't really experience otherwise. LSD Dream Emulator was one of the first games I think ever really captured this, and it flopped during its original 1998 release date, but today we're starting to see a resurgence where people are appreciating just how ahead of its time this game was, and the surreal feelings it gave you just existing within it. It didn't try to be ahead of its time by having next-gen visuals or an intricate movie-like story, it just tried to elicit a feeling, and it did extremely well. As this resurgence is taking place, we're starting to see more and more odd, surreal feeling games that want you to get lost in their worlds. Disillusion ST is a more recent example. Coming out in 2024, it had extremely unique visuals, a compelling story and world that it didn't try to shove down your throat, and an extremely confusing, liminal feeling environment. The map isn't some carefully crafted and curated experience meant to guide you through it with a million markers and quests. Instead, it features randomly generated dungeons with all kinds of crazy unique visuals and looping textures, with different NPCs and things to experience sprinkled about. It's meant for you to get lost in. You're not supposed to memorize the world, you're supposed to wander around and have no fucking clue what's going on, talking to all kinds of wacky people, playing random mini games that make you wonder why the hell is this happening, and piecing together an existential story about the karmic cycle. More and more games are starting to take inspiration from these design decisions, and more importantly, the feeling you get from these games. This lost, surreal, weird feeling. So today I'm going to highlight some upcoming games that scratch that itch for me, that I've been looking forward to for a while now. Eternity Egg is, and I'm not exaggerating, probably the coolest thing I've ever seen. This thing popped up on my For You page randomly several years ago, and I've been following the updates ever since. Not only is the soundtrack absolutely amazing, which you can hear in the background right now, but it features probably the most unique visual style I've ever seen in a game. Almost everything is made up of just a bunch of circles. It reminds me heavily about how old N64 games would have these lifeless looking spheres, which was mostly contributed by the fact that it couldn't render as many polygons as a sphere needed, so it would literally billboard a PNG of a circle at the camera so that it looked 3D. I'm not quite sure if that's what's going on in this game or if it just has a really good shader to make the lighting look like that. But either way, they pull off the visual style incredibly well, giving it a vibe I've never seen in any other game. The colors are so vibrant that they basically pop out of the screen. And with each environment the creator's shown off, the world design looks incredibly unique. And I can't forget to mention how each NPC looks like they crawled out of a fever dream. It's a 3D platformer first and foremost, reminding me heavily of games like Pseudo-Regalia. You have this staff that seems to contribute to the bulk of your movement options. You can thrust it forward to get some momentum, and even bounce off the ball on the end of it to get an extra high jump. You can even run up or along walls. Your character can even do these sick cartwheels. It's also got the ship you can fly around in. I'm not sure if you're allowed to use that in any level or just certain ones, because I kind of feel like that would break the game, but it does look super cool nonetheless. This is probably the most compelling game I've ever seen. Taking a look at this just makes me want to know everything about it. I immediately want to dive into the story, explore the levels, and complete every quest the game has to offer. It releases early access for $20 on the 10th of December 2025, and I will most definitely be copying this one as soon as possible. Go follow at Door of Destinies on Instagram if you want to stay up to date with this one. Next one on the list is Lucid blocks. This one's super hard to describe, so I'm gonna read a snippet from the website. Lucid blocks is an entirely new way to experience your subconscious. It's an open world survival sandbox with psychedelic and dreamlike worlds to explore. Now, when you see this initially, you might think it's just another Minecraft clone, but watching it for any amount of time, you quickly realize that there's so much more to it. No environment in this game feels really describable. I mean, yeah, sure, you can try to, but you'll never quite know what this place actually is. You could find yourself thrown into liminal spaces, peaceful pastures, hellscapes with incomprehensible textures, or infinitely repeating fractals where you're all alone in your own solitude. All of the mobs in this game are just so incredibly weird. Hellish spider creatures, floating geometrical goons, or a sentient pear-looking thing. It's just so hard to describe what the hell is actually happening, but that's also the charm of this game. You're not supposed to understand what's going on, you're just meant to experience it. And like the name implies, it's meant to feel like a dream. The kind that when you wake up, you can't really describe what it was. There's all kinds of weird items that interact with the world in different ways, like a hand puppet that functions as a glider for some reason, a grapple hook, a bubble wand, or even a stick that turns the whole world into an acid trip. And just like any block game, you can also play God and build whatever you want. I don't think there's a release date for this one yet, but you better believe I'm copying this one as soon as possible. You can stay up to date with this one by following this guy on Instagram. The last one for this video doesn't really fit the same theme, but I really want to include it as an honorable mention just because of how cool it is. World of Dogs, developed by Nullhusk, is a movement shooter FPS set in a pseudo-apocalyptic city where it feels like everything wants to kill you. It has some of the coolest movement mechanics I've ever seen in a game, with crazy speedrunning opportunity and fun in general to be had. It also has some of the smartest, well-crafted enemies I've ever seen. They can use the exact same movement mechanics you can, even including grenade jumping, so no matter how OP your movement feels, fighting these enemies feels like you're going against another player who's equally as overpowered as you. They've been doing playtests on their Discord, which I might get involved with someday, but for now, I'll be eagerly awaiting the release of this game. I can't wait to fly around the city and do all kinds of stupid shit. It's not exactly a surreal existential game, but if you appreciate unconventional indie games, I think this will be right up your alley. You can stay up to date with this one by following World of Dogs on Instagram. Anyways, that's all I want to cover in this video. This is my first time making video essay style content, so if you enjoyed it, consider dropping a like or even subscribing. And if you really mess with my content, check out the Discord in the description. I make my own games and I share updates and talk in there with y'all. Also, feel free to recommend me any other games I might want to check out that are maybe up this alley or even just random stuff. I'm always looking for cool niche things to try out. But yeah, that's about it. See you next time, goobers.